best image. Yes. Okay.
Welcome to the Behind the Art Inspiration Podcast, a sneak peek into the studio practices of all types of artists, conversations for artists and fans of art who are sophisticated and savvy. I'm your host, Caroline Karp. Let's get to it. Hello, everyone. This is episode number 24 of the Behind the Art Inspiration Podcast. And in this episode, I'll be virtually traveling from my Safety Harbor, Florida studio across the pond to London and into the studio of Venezuelan multidisciplinary artist Renata Fernandez. Her depiction of nature is one that is as attractive as uneasy, mesmerizing as it is broody, and otherworldly menacing beauty that lets us believe there is something intangible behind the foliage that could be distinctly unfriendly. So I want to hear a little bit more about that, Renata. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, Caroline.
I'm so glad
It's
you're
an
here.
honor, really, after we connected in Clubhouse. And yes, and well, the concept of Menacing Beauty, it comes from a series of camouflage paintings I was doing like many years ago. I'm talking about probably 15 years ago. And I was studying the paintingly qualities inherent of the camouflage.
Mm.
That took me to work on the landscape where the soldiers hide. I didn't explore the landscape as a gender before that. I'm talking about that the last time I was like 12 and I was learning how to paint in oils with a private teacher long time ago. So after doing camouflage and painting soldiers and concentrated on the uniforms, so suddenly had the need to work on the gender of the landscape, explore it as such. And that took me to rediscover the nature of my country, the biodiversity, and also that sent me to a place of investigating, searching of the engineering of plants, the leaves, the structure, the life cycle, and curiously happened with the flora of my country. I happened to be there in Venezuela in a visiting family when I started taking photos for the first time to use as references, and I ended up depicting the nature that is not real because it's not copy of photographs, but I use them as reference. But ended up being like otherworldly spaces, nature as a monster, very attractive, greenery or not, because I was doing charcoal drawings, very large format charcoal drawings, so it was black and white as well. So at the beginning, I took all the color out. So therefore, I concentrated on engineering the shapes, the light. It was very complex. If you start, because you do landscape, once you start really going into the details of plants, you can get lost in the details of the light and the complexity of leaves over leaves, a stick over stick. And I kind of got lost into that. And the end result were some works that were very broody, very beautiful, alluring, but also slightly menacing, because I guess they became a metaphor for the camouflage, for the soldiers that weren't present anymore.
Interesting. So there were two things that you said that made me think of other things. So the first thing was you referred back to your private art teacher when you were 12, and that's very much like me. Like I grew up with a private art teacher pretty much through my whole childhood. When I was 8 up through the end of high school, and she was my oil painting teacher, and she taught me how to mix colors,
Wow.
and there I painted really super realistic, like realistic compositions and true colors. But then you mentioned that you studied plants, and so where you went the route of charcoal, I went the route of I think I used oil pastels, and I would take like big giant grape leaves, and make them large scale. And I remember playing with the contrasting colors. So the green, where the greens met the purples and the reds, right? So the leaves were, kind of a surrealistic kind of green. And then I would throw in the contrasting colors of the purple and the red, which were not realistic, but I use that a lot in my work today. So those two things that you said were interesting to me. And when I interview people from all around the world, I can see similarities in our upbringing or things that we talk about. So I find it fascinating. So there was work on your Instagram where I was noticing the play of colors, where you are also playing with the play of colors, right? So I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm going to look.
Oh, can it be? Hold on. I'm going to show you some recent words,
Yes.
you know.
Okay, that sounds good. And
do you mean?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking
that
about.
one?
Yes.
I can show you something else.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. These are the pandemic work.
Okay.
Basic. No, specifically I'm going to show you a few ones, you know, like that.
Can you describe them? Because eventually this is going to be an audio podcast, so we have to use like descriptive words. So go ahead.
I know. Absolutely. But basically, they're very colorful. They're, as you mentioned, you know, for instance, you can see very shape like tropical plants.
Yes.
The instead of being detailed, the real color there is that yellow, bright yellow shape that I did with an stencil and a spray paint. The background shows the grid of concrete blocks.
Yes.
To you concrete blocks, which is also stencil, and I use and that sort of texture comes from the stencils I use in gel plates and acrylic paint. And then you can see another shapes, because for me they're shapes rather than objects. And this white shape is the one of a parasol or a shade with some tables, the type of outdoor furniture you find in the pool sides, you know, near the pools and the beach, right?
Yes.
And also you can see an area that is a depiction of water that is very similar to the water that you see in a swimming pool.
Yes, and
which is
remember,
blue with a reflect. Yeah.
And so this is all from your mind because obviously you weren't there, right?
Yes. No. They're not realistic. This is a series of 50 plus works I did during the pandemic, and I'm still need to finish the last 10, for instance. And they are the result of me adapting to not be able to be in my studio every day. Because I'm a mother of, they're small, and I have to deal with the house management, the household chores, and their homeschooling. And that's fairly spectacular, by the way. And so whatever, you know, they're alive. They're alive. Anyway, so the only the only thing I could do to carry on working is not working in the big formats in oil I'm used to, or the big charcoal, you know, or ink formats I do, because I like to work large. Coming from Venezuela, coming from the American continent, I'm used to the bigs, you know, to the big formats. I do that with ease. But yet I had to reduce size and change my materials. So I switched to water-based materials. I came to the studio only very late at night. I got my gel plates and my stencils I did myself, based on my imaginary, you know, my deck chairs and my plants, my tropical plants. And then I did using the gel plates, and they were very basic. They were just texture. They were color areas that I will take later on and go to my house and finish them off with color pencils, basically color pencil and the occasional acrylic marker. And they are the result of that, having to work in my kitchen table. So, and then probably I will also use a spray paint after having my gel plates. And if the composition didn't convince me, so I would use gel
Oopsies. So we have lost Renata just for a minute because I think her camera cut out. But I was fascinated. I'll try and keep this going until she signs back in. And here she comes, maybe. But here she is.
Yeah,
Here you are.
See,
There you
I don't know what you were, you know, we were hearing before I disappeared. So,
I heard it all.
oh,
We
excellent.
heard it all.
So,
Yeah.
good. So you see, I have the shapes, that color, and then I will get carbon paper and do drawing based on a photo, an existing photo. So I will repeat motifs because repetition of motifs is very important. So there is a series of 50 words that they share a subject matter, you know, this similar object, similar subject matter and drawing, because I repeat motifs constantly, you know, the deck chairs, the poolside chairs, and the parasol, they're constantly, you know, and it's very automatic kind of work, so it was very fast. I usually not that fast working, I'm very slow pace, you know, very slow kind of artist. But with this, I have to be fast because I only have like a couple of hours.
Right. I love them. What kind of paper is that on?
Before someone came and, well, it's just A3, you know, it's not like letter kind of format. The next one, it's copy paper. I just happen to have a lot from a previous move. Somebody left it behind. So it's nothing special. Probably should make it sort of special, but no, it's just whatever was available, whatever it was there. It works very nice with gel plates as well because it gets, because it's not very thick, so it gets the details better than any other kind of paper. I like to work like that.
Do you have
This is the sort of thing I use it for NFTs, by the way. I'm minting that sort of work in NFTs as well, so it's good.
Those are for the NFT work?
And you think I'm gonna do the whole series. I'm gonna mint it eventually. I will mint it.
Okay.
I will hold the 50.
Now that you've touched on the subject,
yes,
of NFTs, which some people understand what NFTs are, but the majority, I don't know, a lot of people don't know what NFTs are. I've kind of talked about it on a couple of my podcasts. I'm going to show you my works that I'm doing for NFTs. I have one right here. Show me. So this one, I have these small mixed media, multi-layered pieces, right, that have print, word, and yeah. So what I do is I take these originals, you know, they're on canvas, and I animate them. So I take a digital image and then I animate them, and they become my NFTs. And I have a whole series of them. I've minted 6 so far, and I'll mint more. Yeah. But
that's what I want to do. That's what I want to animate them. So I'm going to do a series of not animated ones, and then after I finish my YouTube tutorials of After Effects, because I'm still educating myself, then I will do the other series of animated ones. But that's intention. That's the intention.
Right. And so are you on the OpenSea platform as well?
Yes, I am. Are you?
Yes, I'm on the open. We'll have to follow each other. Because what's happening is what I've noticed, and I know other people have noticed, it's sort of a male-dominated thing, like NFTs. And so women are bonding together, right, to get seen.
Yes, that's what we. Yes, I don't know if you know about the NFT support pledge. Have you heard about that?
No, I don't.
Well, the hashtag NFT support pledge is inspired by the artist support pledge of Instagram that was created, by the British artist Matthew Burrows. A year ago, a little bit more than a year ago, when the pandemic started, and many artists lost their teaching jobs or their museum jobs or whatever. I was teaching, for instance, so I was left fending by myself only with sales, which is, can be very unreliable, of course. And so he proposed to use the hashtag artist support pledge. And the pledge is, I put some work for sale with a cut price of 200. The case of United Kingdom is £200. United States will be $200, and so on and so forth. And once I reach £1,000, dollars, yens, whatever, in sales, I pledge to buy the work of another artist by £200, dollars, whatever.
Mhm.
So as a result, that snowballed very quickly because artists really didn't have anything else to fall back to during
Right.
when everything was closed. So people realized, many young people and collectors realized that all this work was for sale. So we started selling the work and we started buying the work of each other and support each other. I personally decided that every time it was my turn to fulfill my pledge, I will buy women's work. And I did that. I did that. So a month ago, well, maybe 3 weeks ago, I was in one of these NFT rooms, and I said, "But let's do the equivalent in the NFT." And I personally pledge to support other women. I will do that. And so that's it came about that NFT support pledge. We started an account in Twitter. I manage an account at the moment, but it's not me. So only is there are at least 6 people behind me, women and men. And we're using this hashtag in order to become more visible, because that's the thing. If we started and we don't have this following of the techno, meaning the white gamer, the usual digital artist that was already well settled into crypto. So you're not visible, really. You have to gain visibility. Using the hashtag might be one way of achieving that. Okay,
Right.
and so a fellow artist that also is in the hashtag movement bought my first edition, for instance. So, and so hopefully we'll be able to support another woman very soon. Hopefully.
And so you've made a purchase of NFT.
No. Somebody bought my work. I haven't yet to achieve the
Oh, your limit.
price. Yeah. Yeah. And the NFT basically is the cut price is 0.2 Ethereum. And once you reach 1 Ethereum of sales, then you pledge to buy 0.2 equivalent of crypto art.
Okay.
That's
And
it.
how much is 0.2?
Well, at the moment it's like $300, something like that.
Okay.
0.2. Yes, is and 1 ETH is like isn't that $1,700 or something like that? It
I
is.
don't know. I don't have it all
I,
memorized.
I, I know it keeps on changing. I know, but the thing is, more or less is to keep it 0.2 and 1. Basically, that's what
Mm-hmm.
it is. Once once you sell something, that you won't be thinking of dollars. To be honest, you will be thinking of
Right.
cryptocurrency, Ethereum. So, yeah. So hopefully I will be able to support someone very
Yeah.
soon.
So I want to connect with you on Twitter. Am I already connected with you on Twitter?
I don't know. My handler is the same one that Instagram, so it's Rough Studio
Okay. And
without the
maybe we'll put that
and
in the show notes. I'll put
yeah,
my Twitter and your Twitter in the show notes so that people
yes,
can know where to follow us. But do you mostly show your work Instagram, social media wise?
yeah. I don't put personal things in my Instagram, really, out of respect from my family, to be honest. And I did a long time ago at the beginning, but I stopped doing it. I said, why? Because my daughter, my youngest, which is now 10, she was like 5. It's like, why are you putting my image in there? And it's like, okay, I won't do it anymore. She complained. And I haven't told you, I haven't, given you my permission. And she's incredible wise for her age. And I said, you're right. So I stopped doing that ages ago. So it's only my work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my content, my process, my reflections. It's working like a blog, to be honest. So, I use it like that. So I can become, um, I can be very, use a lot of narrative in my captions. I tell a lot
Mm-hmm.
of things.
Now, with this series that you did during lockdown, do you have plans to show the series in person? Like, do you have an in-person show in mind or a virtual show?
Well, what I have in mind that is on my control that I can do is make a book
Oh, okay.
about it. And that's it, because I will make a book, and I will ask someone to write about it, to support me in that. My art historian and curator friends, and if they're willing to collaborate on that and reflect upon my work, it will be nice. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I think there is an exhibition there. Um, they are small as well. They can be part of something yet to come, because I am sure the next time I take my oils again, because I haven't painted in oils for a long time. I
Yeah.
couldn't. I couldn't. So, haven't touched it at all. It's still being water-based, ink and acrylic, whatever. I'm very small. Um, my way of painting will have changed. That was, that one of the last paintings I did, and small ones are nearby. That was back in March, and they're very detailed and elaborate. They take a long time. So suddenly, I think my way of painting will have changed, to be honest. So I imagine these small works as part of something else.
Mm, nice. And so I had sort of the opposite experience during lockdown because
Mm.
I live in my studio.
Oh, lucky you. Can do
I
that.
know. So I actually exploded with my artwork and painted the most cohesive collection thus far because it was every day. And even though I teach, so I'm also a teacher. I don't teach art. I teach like regular kindergarten. And
Uh-huh.
last year I had 6 students. So every day I would Zoom with them, like I would Zoom and teach, but then I was still in my studio. Like I could just jump up, and we even painted. And I suddenly took over my
Wow.
whole place, right? To where I was even painting outside, and the paintings got larger and larger and larger because when it all boils down to it, I paint large. Like in college, for my Bachelor of Fine Arts, I painted giant paintings, and they've gotten back to be, I'm looking at one right now. Yeah, I'm going to turn it around. I'll show you.
Oh, sure, sure, sure. Aha. Oh, that's large.
Yeah. And then at the end of that, I had an exhibition, a virtual exhibition. So that's why I was asking if you had plans to do something like that, like a virtual exhibition where your work can be seen in its entirety, but you don't have
Oh,
to
you're
go.
right. I see. No, definitely. Oh, yeah, we'll do that. Since now we have the resources that are more available to us. For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, you're right. I didn't get that in the beginning. Yes, I have to do that. A part of the book. Yes, I will do that. So we'll do it in a virtual kind of room. Yes, definitely. So it can be seen as they appear, the evolution. Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Because there's
Yes.
narrative in that. Like there's a chance to narrate that. In fact, in these like Kunst matrix galleries or whatever, whichever you choose, there's opportunity to even record your voice.
Oh, amazing.
Right?
I haven't had a look at this possibility yet, but I will do so. Oh, definitely. Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that. Yeah.
Gives me ideas to collaborate with other artists around the world because we can put our work in the same space, but it's just a virtual space.
Mm,
So, anyways,
that's good.
do you have anything else you want to show us before we sign out?
Yeah, can I show you? I have a very big, large canvases
Yeah,
that
take us
very
out.
quite immersive. So I'm gonna disconnect. I'm using my phone, so hold on. I'm gonna.
And I'm going to tell
Oh,
everybody we're going into the hallway. Is that right? Of your
yes. Yeah,
you're in
yeah,
a
yeah. Hold on. First, I'm gonna show you this. This
okay.
painting is at the moment, oh, sorry, on show in the Royal Scottish Art Academy in their annual show of right. And this one is very recent work, very large as well. This ones are part of my negative landscape series.
Ah,
And then you're going to follow me.
okay. And when you
I
say
like to see
negative
myself so
landscape
close.
theory,
Okay, hold on.
photos to me.
Let's have another one here. That's
So we're going.
part of my work because this is one of the old charcoal drawing large path here in my studio.
It looks like we're looking out a window, but is that gonna work?
Okay. And now,
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear me because I can't hear you anymore. So hold on. This is the, you can see, studio.
So we're in her
And
studio.
yeah, I'm gonna turn it.
Larger part of her studio, and a lot of
Yeah,
artists.
this is. I know there are 16 studios here.
Okay.
I am the only one right now, so just walking you through the hall.
I love going on a studio tour.
And then
Oh wow! Yeah.
this is one of my very large. Sorry, hold on. Just managing the
And I
camera.
see the similar motifs.
So yeah. From my, I call this series the picture.
Now, if you're listening to the,
Because it's
hold on just a second. If you're listening to the audio of this,
a motif that
I think you're cutting out a little bit.
here,
We've lost reception.
and this one too.
Anyways, you can watch
I
the
don't know if you
YouTube.
can see that one.
I can see it, but I can't hear you very well. So we're
Caroline.
looking at our big leaves and the motif of the parasol and beach chairs in contrasting colors. And like I said
lost
before,
you.
I know. Let's walk back into the studio.
You.
Oh, so she cut out for a minute. She'll be back. But anyways, we were walking through her studio and she was showing me a rather large piece. And what I was saying was, if you are listening to the audio of this and you'd like to see the video, you can go to my YouTube channel at Caroline Karp Artist. And here is Renata again. Let's see if do we have you back?
Sorry, connection is crap.
Yeah.
The connection is bloody horrible. Yes, I don't know if you see the light formats. I don't know. Oh, sorry about that. That's my hand.
We did see what you were talking about. We did see the artwork. We just couldn't hear you very well.
Oh, I lost you. Can't hear you.
You can't hear me. I'm wondering.
Again.
That's okay. We're going to sign out. Yeah, we're going to sign out because we can hear you. I'm going to say, hold on a second, but I'm going to tell everybody goodbye. And Renata is not hearing me, but I just want to tell you that. I want to thank everyone so much for watching and listening as I share, and we share. And in March of 2020, I had a vision of starting the International Online Art Collective, a diverse group of artists from around the world who value the power of art to inspire, provoke, and heal. The power of this group is in connection, and from this, a podcast was born. First interviewing these artists, and then branching out to all types of artists. So, Renata, stay there. I'm going to end this broadcast.